like your hockey stick. Yours is a bit more hockey. Mine's
It's it's something I printed. It's on a stick. It is actually a stick
ah
with a bit of cardboard on it.
yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I'm gonna put the lights on because I can't see anything. Hang on. Right.
No, I
Oh
can't
my God.
either.
Oh, I can still stay Billy Mahoney though. I can still stay like this. I'm trying to remember the name of that board game. Do you remember the
Oh,
video board game? Atmosphere. Atmosphere. That's what I was thinking of.
yeah, atmosphere. That's right. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I think we're in Atmosphere, but obviously with the lights on now, it's nowhere near as scary. But we're going to find out who this person is in a second. So, how have you been?
Yeah, I've been good. So this is my dog.
Oh,
Um,
it's the dog. I know which one you're talking about. Keith Sutherland's dog. Uncle
um,
Donald.
yeah, no, it's been good. Obviously, I've been trying to kick my cola bottle habit. That's taken most of the time.
I
Um,
quite know. I mean, yeah, we had, yeah, obviously you were in a food coma last week, and obviously we've had technical problems.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I don't know who's on, if it's just me and you. Just me and you now. You might have scared everyone else away. I did try.
Yeah,
They've probably given up. I did invite those some of those people back, but I don't know. They might have given up. I saw Sean on at one point, and Alison and Sam was on. Sam's probably afraid to come on because he's probably afraid of trashing
yeah.
the broadcast.
Well, I'm probably afraid of us because obviously we do have incisive minds, and it's scary the kind of stuff we get
Oh,
into.
well, let's do this, and hopefully it records better than last time because I know last time it really zoomed in on our faces in the recording.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully that won't happen again. You look fine to me, and you look fine last time, but I don't know. Anyway, for anyone who's new to this and probably watching on record because it took us multiple times to get on, do you want to have a quick intro to yourself?
yes. Well, I'm not really Billy Mahoney. Neither is Alan. No, I'm actually. Hold on. It's Guy Gardner. No way.
You're like a
Yeah.
master of
So
disguise.
I, it's crazy. Yeah. So Guy Gardner, writer. I sort of write stories. Emily's watching. That's cool. Hi, Emily. um, so I write. I procrastinate. I occasionally turn out books. I kind of like to write things with some sort of not normally paranormal or magical edge, where you're not quite sure if there was a paranormal or magical edge.
Nice. And I'm also the reason we know each other because we're both authors. I've actually recently just finished a. Sorry, I get tables attacking me here as well. My God, this room's alive. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so I've just finished a book called Valhalla, which I know you're one of the people who kindly agreed to do an ARC read of it. So I know, and the initial feedback was very positive. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased at that. So I must be somewhere on the right track somewhere with something.
I'm not going to I'm not going to compliment you publicly. Well, I am actually because honestly, it's really really good. I've read. I'm a slow reader, and I'm reading bits when I can, but I am jealous of your writing abilities, and it's just you make it look it's so natural. Um, Oh, Emma's here. Hi. She's literally in the next room. But it's brilliant. It's the story's flowing, and it's absolutely fantastic, mate. Honestly, it's really good. I'm not just saying that.
Thank you. Oh, Alison, welcome as well. You might help me with the comments. I got a feeling I'm not getting the comments, so I think I have to rely on you first. So please feel free to interrupt me if there's any
Yeah, yeah.
comments. So what have you been up to lately?
Well, mostly, I've been getting over the cola bottles. As you know, I'm happy to admit I went too hard on the cola bottles last week, and it sort of led to me being having to sort of stop everything, and I can now say that I'm on milk bottles,
Oh,
which are much
okay.
better. They're completely good for you, and I can control myself with them, and every day's a gift really, and I'm just glad to be away from the cola bottles, and every day just a little bit. you know, and it's cool, you know.
Okay, cool. Milk bottles, obviously your methadone by the sound of it.
Yeah. They are. I mean, I realise they're still addictive, but you know, we're just taking steps.
We'll just catch up where I've been this week. I've taken a leaf out of your book and I've
Yeah,
gone very method.
yeah.
So I've been doing some flatlining this week.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Got together with some surgeon buddies, and yeah, we've been yeah, basically stopping each other's hearts with
yeah,
a defibrillator, and
yeah,
um, and then playing chicken with how long it takes to bring us back to life. So that's what I've been. I'm a bit worried I did bring something back with me. So
yeah,
hopefully that nothing comes to haunt me. But yeah, been a
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
hairy week.
That sounds cool. What was the maximum time you got then?
I got 63 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, so 63 seconds dead.
Yeah. So you could bring something back. Yeah. You just have to see, mate, and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So did you bring snacks? I almost forgot about snacks. So what snacks do you, apart from your milk bottles, what other snacks
Uh,
have you brought?
yeah, milk bottles, nice comforting dolly mixtures, which I haven't had for years, and another 80s favourite poppets. Not
Poppets.
the not the toffee ones because I think they'll probably pull most of my teeth out. So I went for the mint ones.
Good idea. But I'm keeping it 80 still, so I've still got pastries to eat. So
Oh yeah,
see, like, I have actually got some pastries to eat. So I'm gonna put one of these in my mouth. And in fact, I think because people don't believe we go back in time. Well,
no,
I'm going to give away a packet of pastries to whoever guesses the film for tonight, the film winner. So
yeah,
I'll replenish. This is just my packet of pastries. You can't have these. But I will. I can't speak with a pastry in my mouth, but I will. This is so professional. But I will get a fresh packet of pastries and put them in the post to whoever guesses the winning film tonight.
that's that's quite the reward.
Well, considering you can't buy them in the shops, and
Yeah,
if you bought some on eBay, then they're going to be about. It can't be inedible because it'd be, half. When were they
dry.
discontinued? So it'd have been probably mid-80s. It'd be 40 years old. So,
Yeah,
but these are fresh because these are from the time machine.
yeah,
So these
yeah,
are
yeah,
fresh pastries.
yeah.
I'm going
But,
to eat them.
but you didn't obviously you've been careful not to disrupt the space-time continuum and not assassinate Hitler or do anything like that.
I didn't. I was. One thing I was most worried is needing to use the toilet in the past because
Yeah.
I thought, you know, there's the butterfly effect, but there's also, that's the best way to describe it, but I guess something flushable effect. The
Well,
flushable effect, and I didn't really want to flush anything that could have caused any problems in
no.
any
They
things
did
that
find that
could
massive poo, and it was on Facebook, and it was sort of like mummified. So I did kind of wonder if that was you. It did cross my mind.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I think I think we're going to start with your film today, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to put it to camera. I don't know if the camera's doing anything. Oh, is there anything on the chat before I move on? Any sweets people are
Um,
talking about, or
so let's have a look. So Emma said that's better. That's cool. Emily said we need more awareness around cola bottle addiction. Yeah, it's true. We do. And Alison said, I know my favourite film for tonight. She's not said what that is. So she's playing her cards close to her chest on that one.
I reckon she's a Brat Pack person. She might really like Michael Douglas though. So that
Yeah,
might
yeah, yeah,
go.
yeah.
Okay, well let's put this up to camera then. Hopefully you can see this. This is Flatliners. Do you want to give the folks at home like a synopsis of this film, Guy?
Yeah, okay. The Flatliners, it was actually best summed up by Kiefer Sutherland, where he said the cast of Elmo's Fire dies. It's like pretty much that's all great. It pretty much sums it up. So I mean, it's not Brat Pack in the sense that it's not actually any of the guys that were in the Brat Pack, but it's that kind of idea, a sort of reverse Frankenstein, where these 5 students, they're all sort of brilliant medical students, and one of them is obsessed with the idea of finding out what happens after you die, and that sort of begins these sort of clandestine experiments where they each take, as you have. They each sort of kill each other and revive. They sort of take turns to revive the other one, to try and find out what's sort of beyond death. Absolutely brilliant film. I watched it recently. I haven't seen it for years, and it's really scary and really, really good. And I'd forgotten how scary and good it was, actually.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute, how scary it is. You keep it on the
Yeah,
comments. There's just a couple of things I wanted to cover. No sequels for this, but apparently
yeah,
was rebooted in 2017, which
yeah,
I'm refusing to watch. You can go in the
yeah.
same bucket as a reboot of RoboCop and all those. Not watching it.
No,
This was released in 1990, so we're looking at maybe 91, 92 in the video shops.
yeah,
Um, Original certification 15, which generally is the more psychologically scary films. They don't
yeah,
really line on the gore and the violence and stuff. It's more which can be a lot scarier actually.
yeah,
Um, Cost 26 million, made globally 62 million. So it was pretty good. It did all right in the box office.
yeah.
Anything on the comments before we move on to who's in it?
No. We're still on the same. I think everyone's just we've got them in the palm of our hand now.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll keep playing that violin or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, okay. So who's in this one that we know?
Yeah. So we've got Keith Sutherland, we've got Julia Roberts, we've got Kevin Bacon, we've got Oliver Platt, we've got William Baldwin. They're the main ones. Yeah, they're the sort of main. Most of the film, but they're in most of the film actually. Ah,
Out.
that was always going to happen.
Oh, I did think somebody came back with me, and
Yeah,
that was pretty scary. I'm really
yeah.
sorry. We didn't warn people at home that it could be bits like that, but I didn't know that was going to happen. To be honest, that was. Oh.
No, who could have predicted that would happen? It's just you mess with the
There's always some
afterlife.
idiots.
You mess with the afterlife. That's what happens.
Sometimes they come back.
Yeah, sometimes they really do.
Sorry, I did interrupt you. Billy Mahoney interrupted
Yeah,
you, so I apologise on Billy's behalf.
yeah. He's got a lot of anger issues. That really matters. Now, they're sort of the main. It's mostly sort of centered around them. So there's a few other people which you might pick up on, which I haven't. That are sort of. In fact, there's other people that work with Kiefer Sutherland. I'm now going to forget her name, but it was her film debut, and she actually played Kiefer Sutherland's mum in a later film, but she was in this film as well. And I've completely forgotten the name.
I do like this. I do like the actors who are probably not as big.
Yeah,
Beth Grant was in this, and
yeah,
she's one of the people that Julia Roberts talks to at the start of the film about having a near-death experience. Now, Beth Grant, I don't remember her in Speed, but I
no,
cannot forget about her in Donnie Darko. So she was the I don't know what you call it now. Is it PSE teacher? Sort of like not a proper subject, but kind of life skills kind of class in school.
yeah,
And
yeah,
she's the person who's kind of touting the Patrick Swayze, where you should live your life thing. But she's absolutely brilliant in that film, and she's also run Sparkle Motion in Donnie Darko. A brilliant actress, and she's also in The Bondsman, this new thing with Kevin Bacon as well. Brilliant
Oh,
in
okay.
that. So she's an amazing actress. I love her. She was in it. And Hope Davis, and she was kind of William Baldwin's girlfriend in this.
Yeah,
I don't go for any spoilers, but William Baldwin's official girlfriend in this.
yeah,
And this was her film debut. So she was in About Schmidt with Jack Nicholson,
yeah.
and she was also in Captain America: Civil War. I think she was actually oh God, I can't remember her name. Howard Stark's wife. Because there's a
Oh
flashback
yeah,
scene with Howard Stark, but I can't remember what his mum's name is. Something Mrs. Stark. I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember her mum's name, but she was in that as well. So I think Beth Grant was the big one. Actually, I think she's
Yeah.
brilliant, and she was in this as a little cameo, I guess, at the beginning, or small, not cameo, just a small part at the beginning.
Yeah. There was also a lad who played a young. He plays the young version of Kiefer Sutherland. No, sorry, young version of Kevin Bacon. And in a
Okay.
later film, he played the young version of Kiefer Sutherland in something else. They sort of used him again. Um, it's something that I can't remember his name. Jack Duda or something. Again, it's gone. It's just something that I knew. I should have really researched it, but yeah, he sort of popped back into another film. It's pretty cool.
Guy and I put weeks of research into these things. We
Yeah,
really
it's
do. We leave no
yeah,
stone unturned. We interview every single actor still alive
yeah,
in the film, and if they're not alive, we go interview their closest kin who are still
yeah.
alive. So we really do put the effort in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 100% effort. It's scary, really, to be honest.
Okay. I got the screenplay was by a guy called Peter Filardi. And
Yeah,
again, this was his debut screenplay, so a lot of debuts here. Now, the things he did, which I really like, he did The Craft,
yeah,
1996, which was kind of a witch film, really good for Halloween, with Robin Tunney and a few other. But that's a really good film. He wrote that. And he also did, which I've never seen, which would be, I probably would give a go, which is the Salem's Lot TV miniseries, the newer version. There was a 2004 version of it, but although that's a remake, because there was a version late 70s, I think, with David Soul. I
yeah.
probably would give that Salem's Lot TV miniseries another go.
Mm,
So that was a reboot of that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
directed by, I'll let you do this one. Directed by,
Yeah, Joel Schumacher, obviously sort of monster director. Possibly not the sort of film you normally associate with him, but I don't know. He's got a pretty sort of broad scope, but he's also worked with Kiefer Sutherland on a couple of other ones, which I did write down. Um, I will have it here somewhere.
Offspring's
Um,
probably a big one there, isn't it?
yeah, 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 yeah. That the fact that's what I was going to say actually, but yeah, yeah. So it's kind of really, really well directed. Um, it's a great film. Really well, everything about it sort of slots in at the right place for me. Um, the sort of the tension in it is kind of quite a weird one. Like the tension in that film mostly comes from them being brought back to life. That's the kind of bits that I sort of found myself watching. I don't know what you've sort of thought, but um, that's sort of all it was, and it was kind of like enough that just like they're going sort of deeper and deeper and for sort of for longer and longer, and then them trying to bring them back. Um, it kind of really had you on the sort of edge of your seat, you know. There's other sort of tense things in it, but that was almost like the sort of it's kind of a weird the sort of film. It's like a mix of two things. So it's like the tension of that, and then obviously the tension of what sort of happens to them, you know, when they've kind of been dead for sort of some time. Um, but I think that the sort of directing, the way that that's done, and bringing them back to life, that for me was really, really cool. You know, and I kind of found myself right on the edge of my seat with that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we'll definitely get into that in a minute, a few of the scary bits. Um, with the music though, which is always really important for the film, especially with scary films. You've got to get the music right. If you haven't got
Yeah,
the music right, you just lose the mood.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I don't know if you noted the composer for this. I've got a note of who it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So James Newton Howard, again, you know, Hollywood was sort of up there with John Williams and everyone else. Um, his score for it, again, you know, being a you know play piano a little bit. Um,
A bit.
I kind of sort of honed in on that. And again, he sort of he's sort of quite good at using other sort of styles of music. So the music for it was a kind of blend of quite sort of like choral, medieval, gothic sort of choir stuff,
Oh,
um, which worked really well. And you can hear it right at the beginning, the sort of opening shot when you see the statues. Um, it's kind of immediately sort of sets the scene. So really brilliant sort of composing there from him. I'm sure he doesn't need me to tell him that.
I think, well, he's probably like a lot of people. He's probably very, very modest, actually. So
Yeah,
perhaps he can
yeah,
appreciate that from a fellow, an incredibly good fellow musician. The only
yeah.
other thing I noted about him is he also, I can't remember the music from it, but I remember being a very scary film. He did the music for The Village, the M. Night
That's right.
Shyamalan film as well. So he's
Yeah,
got a real good pedigree in these kind of very psychological, kind of these scary films, I would say. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that as well, because you don't, that builds up very slowly, and the music would have added to that.
And yeah, absolutely. And he does look like The Village, which I love that film. It's one of my favourite ever films. The music's not. I suppose there's a bit like the Psycho, like music for Psycho is obviously when the shower stabbing scene, there's like stabbing in the music, it's like which is really good. But it's like I think like the way he does it is like almost the opposite. So like the music for The Village is really really beautiful. It's like a violin piece, um, and it really adds to it because it's completely almost like the opposite to what's happening. Um, and that's kind of for me that sort of always kind of gets me really get that.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Special effects for this one. What do you think of the special effects for this film?
My top thing with the effects would be the light. I kind of again watching this for the first time after many years. It's funny what you notice when you're older. I don't think I noticed it when I watched it when I was younger. Um, is that the light is like a really really important thing. I'm not going to say another character in the film like they do in the DVD sort of, but it kind of was because. Um, the light, so this really lovely gold light that sort of almost infuses every scene when they're kind of doing normal stuff and they're talking and everything else, and then they change the light for scenes that are scarier, so the light will go deep blue for something else. Again, without doing any spoilers, I'm really bad at this, but I've given myself good talking to. um, the all the scenes with Rachel McManus, Julie Roberts' character, they're red, and they all kind of put you in a sort of certain place just through color. And I sort of was really impressed with that. And the film was nominated; it was an Academy Award, but it was actually for sound design, not for sort of lighting. But I thought the camera work was kind of brilliant. Um, and I think the other effects that are really good, because there's not really that many sort of special effects in it per se. It's all kind of what's happening, and it's more watching them, isn't it? That kind of draws you in. But there's like really good like graffiti in all the buildings is really scary. There's kind of really good artwork. The sets that they kind of build a special set that's like quite sort of gothic, and all that. So it's all sort of like really atmospheric, as opposed to like the. It could have gone a different way, couldn't it? It could have gone almost like a fantasy route. Um, but it avoids that, and some people like criticize that they were sort of rubbish. But I think it's great because it kind of does a completely different thing. So yeah, so special effects are sort of awesome for that. Lighting for me is the number one thing. I don't know what you thought, but
Yeah, no, I agree. I instantly recognised it. I kind of drew the dots really afterwards. I drew, the lighting and the way it was staged was very Joel Schumacher. I could see the similar kind of things in The Lost Boys, and I could see similar kind of things in Batman and Robin as well. So I
yeah,
really could see that. So I thought it was great. I mean, the only thing that I put simple and effective is what I put in my notes. So it was, it didn't need anything too showy because the psychological bit was the bit that got you. The bit that did really creep me out is a bit, I can't remember exactly how it works now, but it's kind of, I think it was like a zoom out from one of the bits where Rachel sees her dad in the bathroom, and it kind of
mm,
zoomed out and it went into kind of like a freeze frame, and it kind of changed into, it might be like a monochromatic kind of image. And
yeah, yeah,
what really stand out was his eyes, and his eyes looked really dead creepy, and that kind of did it. Now it gave me a chill, like
yeah,
pull
yeah,
back
yeah,
your necktie to see it, because it kind of like really highlighted his eyes, and it was really really creepy. I can't remember exactly what it was because from the notes, but I'm just like, I remember watching it going, blimey, that's creepy. So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
bit that really got me. But like I said, most of it is around the psychological part of it, I think.
It's fantastic. I mean, the first scene, and I remember, funny enough, I remembered it when we talked about doing it, and it was the first thing I sort of thought about, is that scene when Nelson, so Kiefer Sutherland, sort of brought back, and he's sitting in the back of the van, he's wrapped in a blanket. He's sort of almost quite vulnerable from that point because he's kind of been through quite a lot. And he's sitting in the van and he's talking to Labratio, Kevin Bacon, saying, I can hear everything. It's amazing. And, I've got this sort of like, finely tuned senses. And he says, can you hear the traffic out on the road? And he said, yeah, I can hear it. And you hear the humming of the lights. And he says, just underneath that, he said, can you hear a faint dragging? And I think that's so good. Because from that point, it's like, this is not going to be good. And it's so well done. And then when you see what is making that dragon, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. It's simple. It's simple. Nothing.
Well, that's just great script and great acting.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's cool. You actually got another scary bit. I mean, yeah, I agree with you totally. The atmosphere of the film. There's the physical scaring. Or there's kind of are they going to be able to bring people back or not? And obviously what they bring back is very scary. Other things I heard was there's a few jump scares in there. I think they're linking to the first near-death experience. There's a change in volume which made me jump. I don't think Sam jumped at all. I think I made Sam jump. And there was a bit with the underground train as well, with the noise of that as well. So there's a few little, I guess, textbook out of kind of film school jump scares.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was the overall film itself, which is what we wanted. This was kind of the point of this one, was going for these psychological kind of films. So I think we got what we asked for with this film.
Yeah. I like the characters are sort of quite isolated, aren't they? So when stuff happens to them, they're on their own. So like Kiefer Sutherland's in, like he follows the dog. That's scary. And then he sort of sees Billy Mahoney, and it's such a shock what happens next. I don't know how much to give away really, but well, we sort of know. But that I mean, and obviously that's like I don't think any of that's sort of been done in anything else. That kind of idea of a kid suddenly turning really violent. Apart from things like sort of Chucky. I don't know.
The Omen.
Yeah, right. Okay, The Omen. Yeah, that's a good point. That was horrible. Yeah. Okay, so The Omen. But apart from that,
It's still a good twist. It's a very good twist actually to be tormented. Yeah, for a child to torment an adult, I think that's a very good twist.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, that's happened to me tonight already.
I've just been tormented by technology. In fact, your screen is frozen at the moment. I'm glad to still hear your voice. I
I'm
put
still
a question mark under funny bits. Do you remember any funny bits in this film?
No, the only bit that made me laugh in retrospect was when Nelson, that they're sort of almost getting towards the end, he's in the van, he's in the Bracio's sort of like pickup truck, and Billy sort of attacks him, and Kevin Bacon smashes the window with a rock to get to him, and he didn't need to do that at all because the back of his van's just canvas, and Nelson's there, so he could have just gone in, lifted the flap, and helped him much earlier. But he kind of goes through his rigmarole of smashing the window and climbing in, and that sort of made me laugh in sort of retrospect.
I think it's Kevin Bacon or the Bracio would have loved that vehicle. You don't have a vehicle like that if you don't love it, because it was like an army vehicle, wasn't it? So you must have really loved it. It wasn't like your first car where you just buy anything. You must have loved that thing. So to put a brick through the window, it must have broke his heart.
Yeah. It also made me laugh because I nearly did that with one of my kids a few weeks ago. I accidentally locked them in the car, and I managed to lock my keys in the boot, and the keys locked the car. I was like, oh my god! And I had a rock in my hand, pretty much, Kevin Bacon sort of about to smash it through the window. Mind out, kids! Don't worry, Daddy's going to sort it out. And then one of them just wound the back window down, and said, "Shall we just get out this way?"
Do you know, I think it's one of the most common kind of sort of vehicle and emergency call outs. I don't mean like 999, but like
Yeah,
RACAA, green flag. It's one of their most
yeah.
common call outs now. Okay. On to some. Have you got any interesting factoids about this film?
Um, Let me find my factoid bit. I think, yeah. So the one that kind of got me is an interesting thing. Billy Mahoney. So the lad that they chase down and bully and accidentally kill. It was a deliberate in joke of the writer's thing. You put a character in a tree, you throw rocks at the character in the tree, the character gets down somehow. And apparently they did that as a actual sort of in joke. It sort of turns out to be how he sort of dies in the film. So it's sort of maybe not like that funny, but it kind of just that sort of got me. It's an interesting sort of thing. A few other factors, yeah. So Peter Filardi, yeah, again, writer, yeah, Salem's Lot, Nightmares and Dreamscapes. The SB Butler School that's mentioned, that Kevin Bacon mentions, the girl he picked on, is actually the school in Mystic, Connecticut, where Peter Filardi's from. So he sort of put that in as a little sort of Easter egg. Obviously, other bits of, I mean, all these guys work together a lot. So Kiefer Sutherland, Joel Schumacher made other films together. Obviously, Lost Boys, also Phone Booth, which is a really good movie. 12 and A Time to Kill. They were also sort of collaborated in that. There's a general thing. So Kiefer Sutherland obviously is tormented by a character in a red hoodie who we both decided completely. I kind of had a feeling you might be, but I thought either that or you'd try and wire yourself to the ceiling and be sort of hanging there. One of those two things.
That would have been an engineering feat.
Yeah, they would have been good. So he gets tormented by a character in a red hoodie, which I didn't have I have to apologise to the viewers that I didn't have a red hoodie. I was slightly not method enough there. And also his dad, Donald Sutherland, was tormented by a child in a red main Mac in Don't Look Now. It's kind of really scary horror film of the sort of 70s, I think.
Covered in blood as well. That's another option.
Yeah. Yeah, so what else have I got there? Oh, a couple of mistakes. It's one of those things. It's like it's more dramatic what they do, but it's wrong. So they're using when they're trying to bring Rachel McManus, Julia Roberts' character back. They've got the bag on her, the sort of breathing thing, and you would never switch from. They switch from that and sort of just sort of throw that way and do mouth to mouth, but you would never do that because if you're doing mouth to mouth, it means you haven't got equipment like that. But obviously it looks way more dramatic. I've got to go mouth to mouth, but it's completely the reverse. You would never do that in real life because it'd be like sort of trying to blow up a tire with
we got to
your
go
mouth.
mouth to mouth with one of the women who were considered probably one of the sexiest on the planet at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I did sort of think about that as a kid a bit. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, and also Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, they were in A Few Good Men. So they've all kind of been around the same sort of films. My only other bit of trivia is that Michael Crichton. No, so I'm not thinking Michael Crichton. So I'm thinking that of the other film actually. So Michael Crichton's not there, is he? So that's my trivia for the next film. Just we'll have to edit that out. The outtakes.
Okay. Well, let's see. I've got a few extra ones to add before we go on to the next one. Was there anything in the comments I've missed before
let's have a look. Yeah, Sam said not many laughs in that film. No, it was hard to pull any sort of funny bits out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Alison said the film did receive a nomination, best sound editing. Yeah. That's absolutely right. Yeah, but I thought that lighting in the film, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It really sort of got me. But the sound was obviously really good as well.
Yeah. So yeah, actually missed out to Hunt for Red October with sound editing.
Yeah.
So sound effects editing. So the only ones I had was Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland actually got together during filming. but subsequently broke up. They actually ended up engaged, actually, so they went pretty far, but ended
Yeah.
up breaking up. Apparently, Val Kilmer turned down the role of Nelson Wright as well,
Oh,
which is
right. Okay.
Simon's role. Um, Producer Rick Bieber, I don't think he's any relation to the other Bieber, Justin, maybe he is, I don't know.
Yeah.
At the time, he said the film he thought would be very provocative. I guess this shows the change in the time, really, because I think
Mm.
this film released today wouldn't be considered necessarily provocative, but because there's probably so much more shock value today. And
Yeah.
he said there's no question we're dealing with a subject matter that does have religious overtones, and it kind of reflects actually probably people were more worried about stepping on maybe toes of Christianity at that point.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting. I don't think anyone would give a monkeys now. Um,
Yeah.
and the only other two, which I find it very funny that William Baldwin's near-death experience involved lots of boobs, which I thought was funny. But that actually did make me laugh. I was like, right, everyone else is having these scary, really scary
Yeah.
experiences. Actually, William Baldwin is kind of thinking about boobs when he's dead. um, and then just at the start, really, and this will always get me, that Columbia Pictures star, because Columbia Pictures with the Statue of Liberty. Every time I see that, I think the film Ghostbusters is going to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as soon as that went on, I thought watching Ghostbusters, not
Yeah.
Flatliners. But
Yeah.
okay, so let's move on to the second film. We haven't been talking about films for 55 minutes. It took us about 20 minutes just to get online together. Okay, so I'm championing this film here called Coma. This isn't my favourite cover, actually. I prefer. So the bit that's in the background here with all the people suspended, there is a version of this cover where they're in the foreground, which I think is a much
Yeah.
better cover. But unfortunately, it's the only cover I've got. But yeah, so that's the cover. So for people who haven't seen this, so probably I think most people on here are more likely to have seen Flatliners than Coma. Probably because
Mm.
Coma's a lot older. Coma's like 1978. But you'll see really why these two films are connected, actually, because it's all about these kind of near-death kind of experiences, and but not near-death experiences, but all these things around death and hospitals and things like, and psychological thrillers. So the main character, Dr. Susan Wheeler, her best friend dies unexpectedly at her hospital after a routine procedure, and she becomes obsessed thinking that there's some sort of conspiracy why she died. And I'm not going to go any further than that, but that's the kind of synopsis of the film, really. That's kind of the premise of the film, really.
Yeah.
And it all kind of builds tension from there as Susan Wheeler kind of gets more into what she believes to be this conspiracy that's happening at the hospital. The original certification, believe it or not, was PG.
No way.
Absolutely, it's been changed to a 15 now. And we usually do 80s PG, but this time it's 70s PG. So some of the things I like to call out for this is when there's like pretty much a naked shower scene involving the main actress, who's
Yeah.
Genevieve Bujold, I think, or Bujold, which just boggles your mind for a PG. It's behind a screen, but it's still, it's just still a naked shower scene. There's a bit in the film where a man gets electrocuted. It's quite graphic, and the whole film is generally very tense and scary. So I think PG is, much. We remember when we were kids, and pretty much my parents would rent anything up to an
Yeah.
18. PG would have been straight on. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
PG meant Universal. It may as well have been a Bambi film as far as my parents are concerned. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
have ended up watching this. And I didn't watch it back in the day, but yeah, amazing. I think they were right to make it a 15 anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
It cost 4.5 million to make, but it actually made 50 million, and that was just in the US box office alone. So it actually
Wow.
did really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking the other film pretty much doubled its money. This 10 times, and that's just in the
Yeah.
US. And then catch me if I miss anyone, but these are the people who were in it. So there's Genevieve Bujold. I don't know if I pronounced it right. I apologise to all my French friends. She was Dr. Susan Wheeler. She was actually in Earthquake, 1974, which I've seen a long time ago. Obviously, did a lot of French actress. Obviously, did a lot of Hollywood films. Really early film for Michael Douglas as well. He hasn't got. I'm looking at the picture of him. I can't see a wrinkle on him.
No.
So early film for Michael Douglas is Dr. Mark Bellows, know him from Romance in the Stone Out Man. Lots of really cool films he's in. Rip Torn, he is Dr. George. He's the pathologist, I think. He's been in a lot of films. I love Rip. He's got a great name, Rip Torn.
Yeah.
Men in Black. The two films which I absolutely love. He's in a film called Freddy Got Fingered from 2001. And there's a scene in that film where, I don't know if it's Freddy, but anyways, it's Rip Torn's son. And Rip Torn's been going out to work, and he comes back to find his son playing the piano in his living room, but he has strings on each one of his fingers, and at the end the strings go up to the ceiling on little eye hooks, like loads and loads of strings all around the room, and on the other end of the string is a sausage on each string, and so there's all these sausages on the ceiling. As he's playing the piano, he's singing, "Daddy, would you like a sausage?" There's all these sausages dancing up and down as he's playing the piano. It's like one of the funniest things I've ever seen. His dad's just walked in from work. I'm thinking, and I think his son's like, he's somewhere like 20, still living at home, no job.
Yeah.
And he's coming in from a hard day work, and this is what my son's been doing all day, setting up this thing for me to walk in the house to have all these dancing sausages. It was brilliant. And he's also in Dodgeball. He's Patch O'Houlihan in Dodgeball, and that character is amazing.
He's brilliant. Yeah, Sam said an idea for you. No, I mean, my kids would do stuff like that, and I'd just be sort of like, right, come on, guys, just take it down, please. Let's just do tea and stop messing about.
I think one of the themes of the film is Rip Torn is trying to get him out to, sort of do something in his life and get a job, and that's obviously what he spent no time looking for a job, and that's what he spent all his days.
No, Sam, I do play piano with sausages. It's these. That's what I use. Finger sausages.
There's a guy called Richard Widmark who I really recognise. I think he's reminiscent of a lot of different actors. He kind of looks a little bit like Yul Brynner.
Yeah.
He's a little bit like the Riddler, Frank Gorshin as well.
Yeah.
He looks like a lot of people, but I think they got similar looks. But he's Dr. George Harrison. He is in The Swarm, so another classic film, 70s film.
Yeah.
It's also Lewis Childs as the person who dies, Nancy Greenlee. Everyone probably recognise her as the Bond girl in Moonraker.
Yeah.
Suggestive name, Holly Goodhead, as they all seem to have in the 70s and 60s. In fact, I think it went into the 80s, it was still doing that. A guy called Alan Horfrecht, who was a Dr. Marcus. He was the book burner in Footloose. You remember the guy from the...
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Is that the guy? There was someone called, and I like all these smaller actors, or the people who had smaller parts, I would say, because actually some of these other actors are really big. There's a woman called Betty McGuire, who was a nurse in the, I think it was in the Jefferson Institute, where they take all the bodies. Now, she was in Wishmaster, and I've seen that recently, but I can't remember seeing her in it. But she was in that. And this is kind of some infamous things. Infamously, Tom Selleck was in this film as a dead body. Well, he was alive to begin with, but he quickly becomes a dead body. Magnum PI, and in Three Men and a Baby. Ed Harris's film debut as well, the young Ed Harris. The Rock, The Stand. He's been in loads of good stuff. And this was a bit of a kind of very, very oblique one. A guy called Lance Legault. He's the assassin in the film. Do you remember what he's famous for being in?
Go on, I'm not going to spoil it. You say it. Go on.
So he's Colonel Decker in the 80s. So you probably say, who's Colonel Decker? Well, Colonel Decker is the military police person who's chasing. There you go. I love it. Oh, it's awesome. But he's the person who's constantly chasing the A-Team throughout the whole series. Yeah. So I thought, I was looking at him going, I know you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Was there anyone I missed? Because there's quite a lot of people in this one.
Yeah, no. I think you absolutely nailed them all. You've got all the same people I did. Yeah, Tom Selleck is sort of first. Yeah, I think he's a corpse longer, isn't he? Than I think he's got like one line. talks about football, doesn't he, messing around, and then next time you see him, he's dead.
Foxtrot dies in this. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry everyone. Yeah, bad luck.
It's fine. It's fine. We can do the little ones.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, you totally nailed everyone. I got the same people as you did.
Okay. So written and directed by Michael Crichton. He's come up with so many brilliant ideas for books and films. They all tend to have some sort of scientific edge to them, though, don't they?
Yeah.
I picked out just two here, but you know, Westworld. He did Westworld 1973, which is a great film, and
Yeah,
Jurassic Park 1993 as well, which is the one most people know him for. Actually, it's probably
yeah,
Jurassic Park because it was just so big. And as we learned in a previous, I think it was when we did on Willow, it was kind of the death knell for stop motion animation. That film.
yeah. I remember
Um,
seeing that in the cinema, and just coming out, just being blown away, thinking that it was like. And it's funny, isn't it? Because like people, I guess like young people now aren't going to have that because they haven't had the transition between what we saw of say like the Ray Harryhausen
yeah,
line of kind of stop motion and actual creatures and CGI, and just thinking that that was amazing, and kind of just being blown away by it, and like you'll never have that again, but then having said all that, I still think with CGI, I think now I kind of think actually puppets are really cool and kind of like almost still gravitate towards that world of actual, mechanical sort of creatures and
yeah, yeah. But I'm a big fan of physical effects. I think.
yeah,
Yeah, I think CGI. Yeah, CGI. I think to do the things that can't be done any other way, good. But I always prefer a physical effect. Um, co-written by Robin Cook as well, which is interesting because he's a doctor, surgeon, and ophthalmologist, which I can't say
yeah,
very well. So that probably really helped getting some of the details right in this film from a yeah, 'cause there's quite a lot of it's in a hospital with surgeons, so it's he was probably very good at getting those details right. And there's something with my
yeah,
writing that it does. I do try and get those details right when I'm writing about
yeah,
something that's not actually within my own experience. I do try and research to find out and try and ask people if I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
let's go on to the music. I know this is your shtick. Jerry Goldsmith was the composer here. Oh my God, trying to pick some films he's done, it's just too long. So I just picked out Planet of the Apes, Logan's Run, and Poltergeist, but that is just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. He's done loads. I mean, his particular thing is he's really, really good at taking, like he'll take sort of another composer and write exactly like them, but do it for film music. It's kind of real sort of talent of his. So, I mean, absolutely incredible composer. And I mean, for this one, I mean, but then he did a really cool thing with this is that he didn't write any music. The first 45 minutes of the film there's no music, which is a brilliant musical move in its own right, it just kind of absolutely no music and then it just sort of comes in. So he's brilliant, and he's brilliant at taking, like, there's a couple of like disco things, and he'll take something like that and turn it into an amazing piece of film music. So yeah, he's kind of a legend, really.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I really liked the tense and scary music. I thought it was really
Yeah,
good. And in fact, actually, it, the I'm going to say it's word for word because I'm not very good with this. The reverberated dramatic piano chord that plays during the quiet bits. I guess the bit where it's not like a peaking, where something happens. It's the kind of build up to
yeah.
something. Apparently, that was a bit plagiarized during in Friday the 13th. Apparently, I
Oh,
don't think
okay.
I've watched Friday the 13th, but apparently, yeah, if you watch Friday the 13th, you'll see pretty much the same music being used. Um,
Yeah,
no one got sued over it, but
yeah,
I guess to the musical ear, you would go, "That's the same thing."
yeah,
Just
yeah,
changed a
yeah,
couple of
yeah,
chords, which I
yeah,
thought was
yeah.
interesting. Um, the only bit I didn't like in the music was actually, the scene where they kind of Michael Douglas and Genevieve go on their weekend away. That
Yeah.
happy-go-lucky holiday music. I thought that aged really badly. I was watching that going. It's kind of like the kind of thing they make fun of on Naked Gun. you know, where
Yeah, yeah,
they go away for the weekend and do something similar. So I didn't
yeah,
buy into that, but the rest of the music I thought was fantastic. All the proper scary stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I thought was excellent, but I didn't like the holiday music. I thought it was a bit enough.
yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. It was sort of a bit. It was almost like they went just write some holiday music, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going out later. Fine, I'll do it." You know, like it was
Well,
that.
I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, thinking, well, maybe at the time it was good, and it's just my more modern ear going, that's a bit rubbish. But I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
it was, as you said, it was just, I'll just knock this out.
yeah. How hard can it be?
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so moving on to special effects. What do you think of the special effects in this film?
Good. I think. I mean, again, it's the same thing, isn't it? It sort of relies on people's sort of deep fear of hospitals, and so it doesn't sort of need anything like really grand. Um, so it's just creepy. I think seeing just someone being injected with something that you know. But yeah, that's kind of it, really. There's a couple of scenes where you know that they've been injected with something, and you know that it's not good. That's kind of like, oh my, you don't need anything else. Um, I think my top scene is still the people suspended on wire. Um, it's this kind of like epitome of it's like that corporate greed, isn't it? It's gone so far that all these people have just had their organs taken and they're all suspended, and the way that they sort of did that is truly horrible. And apparently they had to have sort of people that really knew what they were doing, sort of like performers, because they had to lie suspended like that, and they could only film every scene for like quite sort of short periods. Because they were being suspended in such a like awkward way, but I think that sort of special effect was really good, just as a sort of creepy value as well. There's some quite good like electrocuting, um, which I thought was a slightly unintentionally funny bit as well. When he sort of said, "I've got to make this look like an accident," um, and he sort of, kind of pushes this guy into all the electrics with a broom after dipping water on him, and it's like, that's not. That would be hard. That's a hard accident. Like, what would you have to do? Fall headfirst into your own bucket, and then fall into a sort of bank of electronic equipment, um, and then be sort of there. I thought him being electrocuted was a good effect as well.
Yeah, I agree with you at both the ones I had. In fact, actually, I probably said some things wrong, actually, because I kind of said about people dying, and actually, that's wrong. It's not that people die. People basically have gone into basically brain death, haven't they? So they have kind of their bodies
Yeah,
are still alive. They've gone into comas they can't be woken from, and that is what happens to Susan Wheeler's friend. It's what happens to Tom Selleck. So although I'm saying it, I kind of describe them as dead bodies. They're brain dead bodies, aren't they? So
yeah,
they are still, the bodies are still alive. It's just the brain is
yeah,
dead,
yeah,
which is really part of the creepiness of the whole thing. But yeah, as you get more into it. So anything in the
yeah.
comments before I move on to some of the
Um,
scary bits?
no, no, no. I think they're in the palm of our hand, and they've just been stunned, by our
Honestly,
assumptions.
one of the two. I thought there's a bit in the Jefferson Institute where these kind of brain dead bodies go. Um, and I think these are the proper dead bodies, though. I don't think they're not the coma people who are suspended on wires, but there's a bit in a room where there are a lot of people kind of hung up like slabs of meat.
Yeah,
Um, that was scary. So there's a jump scare in that with
yeah,
some of the bodies moving forward. So that made me jump. But again, I think very similar to Flatliners, it really is that kind of. And I say this film does it a bit more because I think with Flatliners, you kind of follow each story and then you start another story with another character. This one, just every bit of the film gets more and more tense up until
yeah,
the
yeah,
final scene. So it kind of cranks it up all the way until you hit a bit going, oh my God, at the end.
yeah.
So I think it just builds that tension. So I wouldn't say necessarily a scary bit. It's just the way it builds that tension all the way until it gets to that crescendo bit at the end.
Yeah, it's fantastic when you find out like when she's then next, and it's like you're going to room 8. Um, because it's because not a lot happens in terms of action, does it? It's like not, but it's so tense, like you say. It's being like cranked up the whole time, cranked up another notch.
Mm.
Um, and the sort of nurse that's kind of running it. I mean, again, she's sort of brilliant because she's like really dead, like
Yeah.
dead-eyed. Sort of, it now costs. She says that we get the cost down to $5 a day now to look after these, sort of people that are hung up, and it's absolutely fantastic, and it sort of shows that with the right atmosphere, that's actually all you need. Um, and then when they're talking, when the other guy's on the computer and they're sort of deciding how much to sell the organs for, so liver's like 180,000, we can get it to Tokyo tomorrow. It's kind of because it's so normal in one way. It's like they're just dealing with selling a car or something,
Yeah.
and then it's the shock of that, but what it actually means. It's a sort of stroke of genius, really. It's absolutely brilliant. It's really horrifying. The sort of it's corporate greed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good theme. I think they did that kind of build of potential really good in the 70s. I know they did it really well in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Just
Yeah,
like crank it up, crank it up. It's almost like being in a sauna and going,
yeah,
oh, let's put up another half a degree, another half a degree, and then by the end it's like unbearable because you kind of
yeah,
it just little notches at a time. Again
yeah,
with Flatliners, again the funny bits are not. There's not many of them. Anything that made you smile in this film, apart from the electrocution, the stage electrocution.
yeah. That was the only bit. I couldn't get anything else.
The only thing that got me was the guy. There was a bit in the autopsy where there were two guys talking, and one was munching on his lunch. So he had like a big sandwich in his mouth as they were kind of like dealing with his body that had been cut open. And I was like, oh my god! I was just like, it did make me
Oh,
laugh. He was just like, he's just eating his lunch, like, just like, you got a dead body open in front of you. And it's like, it's probably crumbs falling in this poor body. But anyway. Okay, so on to the interesting bits. Anything on the comments before I move on?
no, it's still the
Okay,
same. I
cool.
think, but yeah,
Okay. I'll do a few of them, and then maybe you can jump in with something you've got. There were two versions of the Coma scene filmed. One was for TV, and one was for the kind of cinema release.
yeah,
And you can see the difference and you see in some of the cutting in the film I watched. The film I watched was obviously the cinema release. Sometimes you see the bodies, and they're pretty much naked, and you can see, if there's a woman, you see their boobs. But then on another scene, you see maybe their boobs are covered up, so you can actually
yeah,
see the old TV edited in there as well. So they did two different versions of that bit where everyone was suspended for the television screenings without any boobage, for want of a better word. Um, the producer, Martin Ehrlichman, said he wants to do for hospitals what Jaws did for sharks, which I think he did a good job of. I think, my wife's never seen this film, but my wife is absolutely petrified. Well, used to be very petrified of hospitals. In fact, it was a big deal before we had our first child, actually going to a hospital. But yeah,
yeah,
I think he did a good job. Actually, I think, yeah, if I didn't have a fear of hospitals or doctors before, I would have by the end of watching this film.
yeah.
Um, Apparently, Farrah Fawcett was in line to get the Dr. Susan Wheeler's role, but
Okay.
unfortunately, because I think we had the right actress for this, but her commitments with Charlie's Angels meant she couldn't actually do this,
Yeah.
but she was in line. Apparently, in the novel, because this is from Michael Crichton novel, even though it's a Michael Crichton film, so Michael Crichton novel, screenplay, director. I'm surprised he didn't do the music as well and be one of the doctors. Apparently, there was a lot more feminist content. We've got a very strong, actually, in late teens, you got very strong female characters. So quite
Yeah.
early on in cinema, actually, to have that. But yeah, apparently that was cut down a lot for the film. Although you do see that a lot with some of the conversations between Michael Douglas and Genevieve, where they do talk about stereotypical roles. I think Michael Douglas said, "Are you going to cook?" kind of thing. So
Yeah.
they do touch on that kind of stuff, even though they're both professional doctors
Yeah.
doing the same hours, same work. Um, Interestingly, 12 years after this, Michael Douglas produced a film very similar to this called Flatliners.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Similar
yeah,
subject, or what happens, because you got to think, we're talking about, in this film, with the psychological thriller dealing with people who are essentially brain dead. I guess in Flatliners it is different because they don't become brain dead, because they bring them back before they become brain dead. But again,
yeah.
similar kind of themes there. Um, I was amazed to see Michael Douglas driving around in a Fiat. I've owned a Fiat. It spent more time being repaired, either by myself or mechanics, than it did on the road. So I've got to applaud that they managed to get enough footage of that Fiat driving around to be
I
able
think
to
I've
make it
seen
work
that
for the
bit.
film.
Yeah,
Uh,
you came here in the theatre, didn't you?
oh
Came up
no,
with me.
no, that was no, an old car. I've not had it for ages. No, I've got my Polo, which we time travel in, and yeah, I've
Oh,
never
yeah,
driven in it. My wife's got an Audi.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I haven't had a Fiat. I would never buy another Fiat. Sorry.
Yeah.
Never ever. Just constantly trying to fix it.
I
Um,
think I had one. I think someone drove into it, and that was the end of it. It didn't last long.
I think that was probably a merciful end to it. To be honest, it would
Yeah,
have let you down.
yeah,
But in fact, mine broke down. Remember, there used to be a toll on the Severn Bridge.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
My alternator failed, and I didn't realise it had failed until I rolled up to the toll booth on the Severn
oh,
Bridge and realised I hadn't been charging my battery.
yeah,
I was on the furthest right toll booth. They had to shut the whole of the toll booths so I could push my car to the other side of the road. The road's massive there. It was about, I think,
yeah,
14, 13 lanes for all the
yeah,
booths. Everyone watching me, everyone looking really, really angry. There was a
yeah,
bunch of policemen who, they weren't eating donuts, but they may as well have been eating donuts, just watching me push my own car on my own, not offering to help, just like watching the show. But yeah, I never buy another Fiat again. Constantly either trying to fix it myself, or it was constantly in the garage.
yeah.
Um, some other things as well, just some interesting things. So in the book, the chief of surgery and anesthesiology, respectively, were called Howard Stark, famous
Oh, right,
famous name, Iron Man's dad, and Robert Harris.
right.
So I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah,
Um, for a film intended to be a PG, I think there's quite a lot of boobage in this film. To be
yeah.
honest,
There's,
it's
yeah.
there's the shower scene which I mentioned. There's a random scene where Dr. Susan Wheeler decides to flash on a balcony, which I didn't really
Mm,
understand. She was kind of looking outside of a balcony, but then didn't just peer around the curtain. She, basically flashed. And
yeah,
I don't,
yeah,
I don't quite get that. Apart from the producers going, "There's not enough boobs in this film. We've got to have more boobs." And they go, well, how are we
yeah.
going to fit in more boobs? And
How are we going to sell the film?
and obviously the suspended bodies in the Jefferson Institute, which is probably where the director had enough and said, "We want boobs. Okay, we'll have a whole room full of boobs."
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm,
Maybe we met our quota. But yeah, definitely interesting for a PG film. Um, I think one thing that I thought was interesting, really showed the age of the film, was the sound was in mono.
yeah, yeah,
Even I mean, I'd like to watch this on VHS, but I've also got a DVD, not a DVD, a Blu-ray of this, and even now that music is in mono. And
yeah.
I know it would cost money to go back to remix it, but I still find it amazing it's in mono. But I didn't do anything to change the effectiveness of the music. It's
No,
very
no,
simple.
no.
It's just in mono.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what else did I have before I move on? I thought there's a bit where Dr. Wheeler's boss is like comforting her and he's like stroking her hair, which I thought was a bit weird. I put it down to
Yeah,
like almost like she was almost like my spaniel, sort
yeah,
of petting a dog. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe in the late 70s that would have been okay, but it's a bit like that's a bit weird and
yeah,
patronising. Um,
yeah, yeah,
it's also a bit later on where Dr. Wheeler's trying to escape from the Jefferson Institute, where she smashes a window, and security kind of look out the window and go, "Well, there's no way she could have jumped down from there." As far as I could tell from where I was looking, it was like a couple of feet. It was
it
like
was.
no distance at all. It was like It was like it couldn't have been more than 2.5 feet, and I'm like,
Yeah. I don't know. I saw that. I was watching that. I dozed off. Funny enough, ironically, in a film called Coma. I woke up and I had to rewind it, and it's like, have I missed something? Because it's like, yeah, it's only really a few feet, but I'm sure she would have been okay to do that.
Well, I'm just thinking. I mean, think about it. She was a very, she was running around. She's a very athletic woman. I'm sure she could
Yeah,
have easily done a 2.5 foot drop. I mean, my
yeah,
God.
yeah. It would have been all right. Yeah, and she
Yeah.
climbed up that. She climbed up quite a long shaft, didn't she? Following that wire, the carbon monoxide, all that.
Yeah. So it was a bit. Yeah, that was a bit. Maybe could have cut that a little bit to, because that
That,
didn't
that,
really work.
no,
We
no,
don't
no,
want to do any spoilers. The only thing I want to say
no.
though is the emergency response phoning 911 in Boston is incredibly fast. I'm not going to say anything more. They are lightning. If you want a police response in Boston, my God, it's quick. That's all I
Yeah.
got to say on that. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it was damn fast. Okay. So, did you have any more? Is there any comments, or did you have any more facts you wanted to learn us about
Um,
this one?
yeah. Alison said, yeah, Robin Cook wrote the original book and Michael Crichton wrote the screenplay. Yeah, and they're both medically trained as well.
Okay.
Michael Crichton went to medical school, as did Robin Cook. The only other bit of trivia I think I've got to add is that the movie caused a drop in organ donations. It's really bad.
Ah,
People sort of went, Christ, and it really apparently contributed to a major drop in organ donation. Yes, so it's probably a mark against it, to be fair. And the only other thing I had was that the headquarters of the hospital, where all the bodies were the Xerox headquarters in Massachusetts. They wanted to find the style of architecture. I think it's called brutalist. It's just really, really. There's nothing pretty, no adornment on anything. Yeah, brutalist architecture. And yeah, it was the Xerox headquarters, and apparently it remains pretty much unchanged. It's a different. It's used for something else now, but it's pretty much unchanged to this day. Yeah. So that was it. That was my two bits of trivia.
I'm glad it's not being used to house yeah, brain
No.
dead bodies kept alive to sell organs. Oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
take that
It's
back.
all good. Yeah.
I can edit that in the record. Okay, so we're down to the business end now. So,
Yeah.
have you got anything to say to promote your film? Anything further you want to say? Why Flatliners should be the one we
Well,
invest our money into rent? Because we can only afford to rent one video out because this is
yeah, it's the age old problem with us,
artists.
Yeah, we've only got one. I mean, again, I think Flatliners. I think both films deal really well with this idea of it's not sort of like what happens after death; it's what happens around death, isn't it? Which I think is really cool. So it's not neither of them go into it's the medical sort of side. Well, what happens in death? What's going to happen at this point? The sort of medical bit around it. And I kind of really like that. I think it's like a really unique. I've never seen certainly with Flatliners. I don't think I've seen anything else that sort of dealt with it quite the way that did. It's a really unique story. I mean, you might know something else, but so I think to that idea of not so much this is my pitch, I guess, of we're going to see God and he looks like Morgan Freeman or whatever. It's what sort of happens around that. What is going to happen to you if you just step slightly over this brink? And the only bit that the sort of giveaway is that Labratio at one point says, we stepped on your territory. I can't remember the exact line, but we're sorry we just stepped on your territory. Does it really mean this much? So it's kind of you touch something and something's happened, but there's no like answer to it. Neither film like sort of offers an answer. But I think Flatliners for me, I am going to plug for Flatliners because I think it's such a unique story. That it gets my vote and the way it's done and the lighting and everything. But I loved Coma. I haven't seen Coma since I was a kid, and I genuinely watched it like it was PG. my parents did actually rent it out. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing that. Oh, boobs, brilliant. You know, and just kind of. So yeah, I really did see it at that time. So both films are awesome, but I'm going to plump for Flatliners, just because of the uniqueness of the story, I think.
Okay. Oh, cool. Alison didn't even wait. She's already gone for Flatliners. I haven't even done my pitch yet, so I'm going to see if I can change your mind, Alison. Okay.
Go on.
But I do
Yeah,
agree with you. I think Flatliners is such a good premise, and I think that's the reason why they couldn't really. Although it was successful, they couldn't do a sequel with it.
yeah,
The only thing left to do is reboot it later because it's such a good idea, and you can't really take it any further than it is.
yeah,
So I quite like that. It almost papers the executives into a corner, saying, "Well, we can't make any sequels of this because it's
no,
self-contained, and the idea
yeah,
is it's taken to the extreme. So where are you going to take it? You can't take it
yeah,
any further." So I
yeah,
do
yeah,
like that. My only thing I want to say is I think with Flatliners as well, although the premise is really good, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of style there, whereas I think with Coma, I think there's a lot more substance in the story. I think the story in
yeah,
Flatliners is very, very simplistic compared to,
yeah, yeah,
and it kind of tells each individual story. But I think what happens in Coma is it builds and builds upon the conspiracy really, really slowly till you get to this crescendo point. Um, so I think there is more intricacy in the story of Coma. So I think if I'm going to talk about it as a pure psychological thriller, not just as, and this is what we were looking at for this set, psychological thrillers. I think it's a better psychological thriller than Flatliners. I
mm,
think Flatliners is a very, very good Hollywood film, um, perfect to eat your popcorn to. But I would say
yeah,
I think
yeah,
as a pure psychological thriller, I think Coma is a better story and a better film.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good pitch. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to change Alison's mind though, because I think when she's made up her mind, she's made up her mind. So I'm going to stick with Coma.
yeah.
So at the moment, we've got. I'm not even sure there's many other people left on, to be honest. So Coma's got one from me. Flatliners has two. I'm gonna see
Emma,
if
where
anyone
are
else
you?
comes up with anything. But at the moment,
Yeah,
it's looking like Flatliners is one.
yeah. I thought my wife might step in, but maybe not. No.
Maybe let's get
Um,
those votes as well. I'll get from Sam as well because I think she's putting Cam to bed now. So,
yeah.
that's I really love the book Coma. Again, the comments. This is great. Read it several times with the movie. Oh, okay. So you probably got the yeah. That's one of the problems. You read the book first from the film,
Yeah,
then yeah. If there's some things in the book that you really love and you think are pivotal and they're missing from the film, then that can really count against the film. So you almost got your knives out for the film a little bit.
yeah,
And I really do think actually usually the best, unless you do like over a like do like really long films with a series, you can't do most books justice because you have to drop a lot of the plot. The
yeah,
ones that the really good, I'd say, movies which are the standard length or the old standard length, 1.5 to 2 hours, you can only really do them from short stories or maybe
yeah. Exactly.
novellas, and that's
Yeah,
why The Body, Stand By Me, Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, and they're doing The
yeah,
Long Walk now as well, another Bachman book. That's why they work so well because they're in that novella. They're in that kind of
yeah.
short novel. Kind of any film producers out there, that's kind of the length of story I write. So
It is an Alan Meredith thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can attest to that. Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I get you,
yeah,
Alison. I get where you're coming from because it bothers
yeah,
me as well. What was the
yeah.
one that really bothered me? And this was a TV series. It was The Secret of Crickly Hollow. Really good James
Oh, they
Hager
made
book.
that today, right?
Really good series with Tom Ellis, and I can't remember the woman's name, but I've seen her in a lot of stuff. They left out an essential
Yeah,
part of the plot, which meant the end didn't make sense.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And it was done so
Well,
well, and they just left that out. Right. And next time, and we've already agreed this, so this is not this is the ink has dried. We've signed the contracts, as we always do. So next time is Halloween special. We decided, and I think we did this unconsciously, because we didn't discuss this. I think we're not going for fill your pants scary films this year. Maybe it's because you went for like really tense psychological thrillers this time. So we're going for the lighter side. So we're going for the more horror comedies, which again, just to think it back, I tend to write sometimes in that realm as well.
Yeah.
But we're going to go with that. So we're going to go with Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, which is what Guy's going to champion. And I'm going to go with one of my favourite actors, who's kind of more of a B movie cult star. So I'm going for Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead 3: Army of Darkness. So those are the two films which are going to go head to head in the next edition of Film Club.
Nice. Yeah. No, it's all good. That was awesome. No, I love that. I love chatting about those movies. Such a good, two really amazing films as well. Equally, one's sort of like a short burn, one's a sort of a long burn. Like Coma is like really, it notches that up. Flatline, there's lots of different stories. But yeah, you've had enough. Yeah, my dog's had enough. She just needs cuddle now.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Guy. Thank you very much, Alison, and everyone else who joined us tonight. And we'll see you with the next Halloween episode of, and I'm looking forward to the outfits, the next Halloween episode of VHS Film Club.